No, we're good. We got it straightened out.
Good morning, good morning. It's so great to see everybody this morning. My name is Heather Kistner. I'm a member of the board here and a lifelong UU. No, I'll take a small sidetrack. I didn't ask Chris if I could do this. I know they don't like to keep folks up here long. But my sidetrack is it's wonderful to be in a place in which it provides a palette or a platform for you to be involved. Involved either on the campus here at Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church or involved in the Knoxville community at large. And I want to personally say thank you to all of us that are here that continually provide that platform, because you never know the gift that you give someone when you welcome them into this home. It can be life-changing if you allow it to. So I just wanted to say that. You are welcome here, whoever you are, wherever you are from, and wherever you are on your journey. If you would like more information about Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, there is a white piece of paper probably in front of you. We do ask that you fill that out. It's really, really important. Because then we get to formally meet you and we get to answer any questions that you may have about our group, our church. Regarding COVID, we are low, which is wonderful. The president of the board Ken Stevenson has initiated some new announcements for me to insert here, but I was remiss and do not have them printed. So that's all I'm going to say about COVID, and I apologize to Ken, leaving out some words. As we move forward together, please remember that we are each other's keeper. If you or your family are interested in our religious education program, we all passed the lovely Miriam Davis. Is Miriam in here right now? Okay, she's still out. If you want to be involved in the religious education, please introduce yourself to her. She's a wealth of information, and that's where you will find anything and everything about family education here. Join us after the service for coffee and conversation in the fellowship hall. Not really on the patio this morning, perhaps, or on our online coffee hour. There's the camera right there. So yes, please join us online for coffee hour. I have one announcement, and then I'm going to ask Mark Mahundro to come up. He also has an announcement this morning to share. But we would like to thank the Art Committee members for presenting today's service, and I would like to ask all of them to stand, please. Art is such a big part of our world, so I'm thrilled that they're here today. All right, so Mark, would you like to come on up?
Good morning. I'm Mark Mahundro, and I'm one of the lay leaders here at church, and I have two quick announcements for you. As co-chair of the Reproductive Justice Task Force here, I invite you to join us after this service at 12:30 in Room C. We will be giving legislative updates, talking about traveling to Nashville on March 21st for Planned Parenthood of Tennessee and North Mississippi's Advocacy Day, and evaluating potential future actions. There is going to be a bus that is going to Nashville to take people there for Lobby Day, and it will be leaving from our parking lot. You can sign up on Planned Parenthood's website, or you can talk with me or drop by the meeting afterwards. It's in Room C at 12:30. There's also been a call out from one of our national organizations, Side with Love, asking for Unitarian Universalists to show up in Nashville that day and show that we are against the horrific legislative agenda that is going on right now. The second announcement is about Starting Point. It's an introduction to the Unitarian Universalist journey. It's the new curriculum that is replacing the new UU and UU 101 sessions, and this class is not only for those interested in membership, but also established members. It offers newcomers and old-timers an opportunity to explore ways in which Unitarian Universalism can make a difference in their lives. Not only will it help you decide if UUism is right for you, but it's also an opportunity to reflect on your beliefs and values. The classes are going to consist of 2 in-person sessions and 2 on Zoom. The same material will be presented in all 4, so you don't have to attend all 4, just 2 consecutive. So the in-person will be March 19th and 26th from 1 to 3 here at the church. And then the Zoom sessions will be on March 20th and 27th from 7 to 9. If you are interested, please RSVP. You can find the link on our website or track me down. And we are very excited to offer this to you. And hopefully you'll attend. Thank you all.
We ask that you please silence your cell phones and electronic devices as we enter into worship. May it be so.
Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition was inspired by a visit to a posthumous exhibit of the pictures of Victor Hartmann, a friend of his. He wrote this collection of pieces where each piece represents a painting of his that was of Victor's that was at the art gallery. And this promenade theme represents walking through the exhibit, moving from picture to picture. So whenever you hear this, imagine you're strolling through that art gallery, seeing the memories of a dear friend and looking at the world through their eyes. Please rise in body or spirit to sing our chalice lighting hymn, number 403. Spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. Oh, bind our hearts this sacred hour in faith and hope and charity. Of its Spirit's church and services its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, to help one another. This is our great covenant. Please remain standing to sing number 44 in the gray hymnal, We Sing of Golden Mornings. We sing of golden mornings.
Athanasios Bayiates, and for those who want to hear and see a wonderful story about a young man who loves to draw, who here loves to draw? Come on up here on the carpet and join me. If I can actually hold the book correctly. All right, so this is a young man, Ramon, and Ramon loved to draw. Anytime, anything, anywhere. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother, Leon, leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out into laughter. "What is that?" he asked. How do you think that made him feel? Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawing look right, but they never did. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he asked. "I was watching you draw," she said. Ramon sneered. "I'm not drawing." "Go away." Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. "Hey, come back here with that." Ramon raced after Marisol up the hall and into her room. You see her room? See what's in there? He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery all around him. Marisol said, "This is one of my favorites." "That was supposed to be a vase of flowers," Ramon said, "but it doesn't look like one." "Well, it looks ish," she explained. "Vase-ish?" Ramon looked closer. Then he studied all the drawings on Marisol's wall and began to see them in a whole new way. "They look ish," he said. Ramon felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed him his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt, loose lines quickly springing out without worries. Ramon once again drew and drew the world around him, making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, afternoonish, fishy-ish, sunish. Ramon realized he could draw ish feelings too. Peace-ish, excited-ish, silly-ish. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. And Ramon lived ishfully ever after.
Good morning. Well, I'm Ken Moffett. I'm a long-term member here, and for a number of years, I've been a co-chair of the Art Gallery Committee. Art has been a part of this church and on display here for a long time. Back in the 80s, in our earlier building, there wasn't any gallery space provided, so artwork was displayed and hung right there in the sanctuary in those days. Now we're fortunate to have some spaces designed particularly for art display. These galleries have a sort of a dual mission. Of course, they're a nice amenity here during the week and on Sundays, and they're considered a desirable venue for area artists. But there's also a bit of an outreach mission. We publicize our shows and receptions, and during those receptions, which of course the general public is invited to and attends, we try to make a point of saying a few things about TVUUC, and not just about the art, and even invite folks, if they haven't done so, to attend one of our services. The art committee itself, there's about 20 people in the committee now. It's a pretty big committee. Members and friends of the church can be on the committee. It's not necessary to be an artist, just to have an interest in art and a willingness to do some of the work of the committee. Once every year or so, we put out a call for interest among area artists. It can be within a 250-mile radius. And once we get that, some submissions in, we'll have a judging session, a meeting, and decide who gets to exhibit and what the time frame is and all those details. There are 6 shows annually, and the hanging for those shows, each one of those begins on a Saturday morning when the artwork is hung in the galleries, and then on the following Friday evening we have a reception right here in the lobby. These are nice occasions. The artists, members, and visitors from the general public are all here. We have food and drink, and the artists are asked to make brief statements or talks about their work and themselves and to answer questions. Occasionally there are sales. In that event, the church gets a 15% commission. We do have a great time putting these shows together. I encourage you to attend one of our receptions and maybe even to ponder whether you'd like to be a member of the committee. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane Fox. Is this a good volume? Okay. Even as a child, before I had a camera, I framed images in my mind. When my father gave me a Brownie camera at the age of 12, I was able to make those frames visible, though I still wish that I had the ability to simply open and close my eyes and blink, I'd have an image. For me, taking photographs is like a treasure hunt, a search for that perfect frame. My current body of work on natural history consists of images taken in natural history museums in the US and abroad. In each museum that I enter, and I have photographed in 27 so far, it presents me with a new set of visual relationships and challenges. I get so lost in my own world during these times that once, while I was photographing in the Übersee Museum in Bremen, Germany, I looked up and was surprised to see that nobody else was in the museum. But, you know, that served me pretty well, so I went back to photographing. And a few minutes later, three firemen burst through the doors and started screaming at me in German. And I was led out of the building. There had been a fire in the kitchen, and I hadn't even noticed that they were raising the alarm. And my poor husband, Beauvais, was outside yelling, "Mein Frau! Mein Frau!" For most artists, there is a point of total absorption while working that takes them out of this world and into a meditative state of their own. Other individuals may find this experience of separation by being out in nature. I know Chris does. Reading a book, fixing their car, tending their garden, or exercising. We all search for those times that we separate from the worries of the day-to-day and move into a space that is completely connected with the here and the now.
Good morning again. When I'm engaged in making art, I can experience feelings of total peace, as well as unease and discomfort. And it's about the process of making art, not just the physical process of putting ink, graphite, paint, or whatever you're using to make marks on paper or canvas or walls or whatever have you. It's also the process of connecting to yourself, myself, and the other, and to a greater understanding of the impermanence and fragility of the human experience. To put it more succinctly, Kurt Vonnegut, one of my favorite artists, probably said it best. Practicing an art, no matter how well or how badly, is a way to make your soul grow, for heaven's sake. And while I don't believe in a soul, I definitely agree in the sentiment. And so I would say, go out and make art, no matter how well or badly, for your sake and for all of us.
Good morning, everyone. Well, at least the ones that remember to set their clocks forward. I'm Tina Becker. I'm a member of the spiritual care team here at TVUUC. Today, we are grateful for the organizers of our church, all those who helped organize our Let's Connect lunch last week, which is always the first Sunday of the month, to those who helped with the reception for the memorial for Lee Minot, for preparing food, setting up tables and chairs, washing dishes, and sweeping floors. To all those who helped make last weekend's church retreat a success, booking the day, publicizing the event, clearing the weekend schedule, and driving cars to the mountain. We are so grateful to all those who worked on the Justice Knox event last weekend to help our congregation to work for systemic change, addressing the affordable housing, accessible public transportation, reducing gun violence, improving mental health services, and reforming our public schools. We're grateful for all those who serve on our congregational board and all of our communities that make the work of our church hum. Everyone who teaches Sunday school, putting our faith into action with crayons, Play-Doh, and glitter. And today we want to make a special mention of our director of music, David Asbury. Early in the year, the Knoxville Guild of Organists granted the Brock Organ Education Fund scholarship to him. This week, David successfully completed his certification process and is already preparing for the next step in his continuing education. Unlike weeks past, this week you can rest easier knowing that all our organ music is officially certified. Okay, after church, this is the second Sunday, we have listening booths available to anyone who wants to come and sit in front of a friendly face and express concerns or joys or chat. Today, please sign cards in the fellowship hall, sign cards at the caring table. Also, the pastoral care phone is 865-297-3155 if you would like to call during the week and express your concerns. We're always happy to listen to you. And lastly, this is important, mindful of these joys and all the joys and concerns that remain unspoken, let's send our love and light into the world. Thank you.
B.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Rules hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Good morning. I'm Kate McCullough. I like to meditate every morning. It's kind of a nice way to ease into the day. But nothing really keeps me in the now except for painting. I am so absorbed by the process of focusing on how to best present my subject matter, the values, the colors, the design. It takes me outside of myself. I stop thinking about the future or the past. I am only in the present. And if I listen to music, which I love to do, I can go that much deeper into that very peaceful and spiritual place. Thank you.
Good morning again. I'm Clay Thurston. I'm a wildlife and nature photographer, as well as a retired school teacher. I taught school for 33 years in Oak Ridge and really enjoyed every year, but not as much as I enjoyed the retirement years. Somewhere along the line, I seem to have developed a lot of patience. I guess when you teach kindergarten through 12th grade and some college, especially kindergarten, you have to develop patience. And that same patience really helped with my photography. It doesn't take long to see that most animals are camera shy. You get out there for just a couple minutes and you think, well, I can get some pictures, but it doesn't happen that quickly. You really have to feel that you have to spend the time out there to do it. I feel that if I can get a photograph in less than an hour, it's a gift, because usually it takes a lot longer than that. And I guess I really didn't realize how my patients made such a difference in my photography until at one of my art shows, this woman came into my booth and she was looking around and she was particularly interested in the hummingbird photographs. And finally she came up to me and she seemed a little confused. And she said, I don't understand how you get these hummingbird pictures. I have all these hummingbirds in my backyard, and I was out there yesterday for 15 minutes and didn't get a single picture. And I said, you know, I hate to tell you this, but the problem is the 15 minutes. If you change that to hours and days, I guarantee you will get some pictures. But I don't think it was going to happen. She really just didn't have the patience for wildlife photography, especially birds. Birds are probably the most incredible things to photograph, but they're probably the most difficult things to photograph too. So I'm glad that I do have the patience, because to me, whenever I'm out photographing nature, it's one of the best therapies that I can think of. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jenny Sneed. Creating art feeds a... Thank you. Now can you hear me? Okay. Creating art feeds a piece of my soul that nothing else touches. The process of creation reflects creating a life. It begins with an idea that's slowly nursed and begins to grow. And when it's young, you can see its potential. It's exciting and terrifying, not knowing what's going to happen or where it will end up. Then it usually goes through a period of teenage angst where it's gangly, difficult, and somewhat visually ugly. At this point, you can doubt your ability to make something meaningful or worthwhile. With continued work and effort, the piece matures and hopefully exhibits the learned wisdom that you've gained, and it has a life and purpose of its own. Like raising children or meditation or listening to music or so many other human activities, that process deeply connects us and ourselves to the wider world. And I have a poem by Mary Oliver called Friends Mark's Blue Horses. I step into the painting of the 4 blue horses. I'm not even surprised that I can do this. One of the horses walks towards me. His blue nose noses me lightly. I put my arm over his blue mane, not holding on, just commingling. He allows me my pleasure. Franz Marc died a young man, shrapnel in his brain. I would rather die than try to explain to the blue horses what war is. They would either faint in horror or simply find it impossible to believe. I do not know how to thank you, Franz Marc. Maybe our world will grow kinder eventually. Maybe the desire to make something beautiful is the peace of God that is inside each of us. Now all the 4 horses have come closer, are bending their faces toward me, as if they have secrets to tell. I don't expect them to speak, and they don't. If being so beautiful isn't enough, what could they possibly say? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Claudia Presley. I'm the Director of Finance and Operations here at TVUUC. Right now we're in the part of our service where we talk about and give you all an opportunity to share in our Share the Plate offering. What that means is that for this Sunday and next Sunday, there is one organization, that is the Lonsdale Environmental Camp at Tremont, that we will split any contribution that comes in that is not marked as a pledge, between that organization and the general operating fund of TVUUC. Easy way to give, whether you're in the sanctuary, watching online, you can text GIVE to the number 73256, type in TVUUC, and the amount you would like to give. If you're here in the building, there is a giving kiosk in the lobby. There are also offering baskets that will be passed. You can deposit checks and cash in there. If you're watching online, there also should be a button or a bar that says Give or Give Now on your screen. So right now, Dave Ostermeyer is going to come, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the Lonsdale Environmental Camp at Tremont. So please give generously.
Thanks, Claudia. Another way, in addition to the wonderful world of art that I think moves a lot of humanity, is being outside in nature. And so I want to invite you to take about a minute, close your eyes or not, but think about a time that you were out in nature that really moved you. So I don't know when, obviously, what you were thinking about specifically, but there had to be an opportunity. And one of the things that a lot of kids in certain areas don't have is a lot of opportunity to be out in nature, and that's the case for the kids that live in this Lonsdale School District. Little history, this church has been involved with Lonsdale for at least 2 decades. And historically, we helped with a one-night, one-day Presbyterian camp. This was many years ago. And about 7 or 8 years ago, we started working with trying to partner Lonsdale with the Tremont Environmental Camp. And this is a 2-night, 3-day program at the center. And if you haven't heard, don't know anything about Tremont, Tremont is probably one of the leading environmental camps in the whole country. So we're really fortunate. It's situated right in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And the kids go there, they spend, like I said, 3 days and 2 nights there. There's housing facilities for the kids, as well as for a certain number of teachers that go on this. And it's historically a very, very moving experience for these kids that don't really have an opportunity to get out of Lonsdale, let alone out of the city, let alone into a place like the Smokies. And so it's a very special time for them. This academic year, we sent 53 kids to that camp, and it's very expensive. It costs somewhere around $200 a kid. One thing about the kids that go to Lonsdale, 100% of the kids have free lunches, so it's a very low-income community, and each family is asked to supply $25. Well, that leaves a lot left over that has to be fundraised. We have a lot of partners. This church has been, well, we helped begin the partnership between Lonsdale and Tremont, like I said, about 6-7 years ago. And it's been going on ever since, except for a year interrupted by the COVID. Let's see. So Lonsdale has changed in the last 10 years. It used to be, when I started first working with the community, there was about 50% of the kids were Hispanic. And now that's about 90%. So when you go to the school now, you see primarily brown faces, a few black faces, a few white faces, but it's primarily a Hispanic community. And these kids just have a fantastic time at Tremont. We have a lot of partners in this, as you can imagine. One of the most significant ones is the Sierra Club, an entity of the Sierra Club called ICO, or Inspiring Connections Outdoors. And they have been very active as a partner, to help us and other entities. We fundraise, we write grants, etc., to raise the money for this. And so far, we've always been able to send, like I said, normally the whole 5th grade. So that's our goal, and that's what we've been doing. So I appreciate the help of this church. It's been absolutely fundamental in not only starting this program, but being a main supporter of this. Thank you for giving.
Good morning. I hope I have this correct for everybody. I'm Bobbie Crews Thurston, and I want to tell you that creating and making art grounds me. It connects me to what is real and ethereal. I've painted a lot of things: cars, landscapes, seascapes, still life, abstracts. But my favorite subject to paint has always been people. Painting portraits connects me to my subject in a way that might never have happened had I not chosen that person or had them chosen for me. I gradually learned to understand and love that person on a different level when I paint them. They become so much more to me when I intimately study their faces. There's something unique in the way the light falls across the crests and valleys of the facial structure, the colors hiding in the shadows, the tilt of their head, and much more that speaks volumes about the person inside. Most importantly, the eyes bring the painting to life. If I wasn't painting, I would miss out on the wonder of this meditative practice and the meaningful ways it ties me to other people. Interestingly, I find that my subjects feel appreciated, understood, and uplifted. I've also painted those who are gone for those left behind. It connects me to their loved ones in a way that lifts me, too. People have told me I have a gift, but it really is a gift to allow my vulnerabilities to reach out and breathe, to connect to the greater world that we live in. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Beauvais Lyons, and I want to say when Elnora from the worship committee contacted members of this committee about organizing a service, I assured her, yes, we would love to do it because creative people are brave people. And so thanks to the members of the committee and to Ken as our co-chair performing, because when we were conceiving this service, we thought certainly we can convince Ken to play as part of the musical program, and also our other co-chair, Kate McCullough. As a side note, I invite you to my current exhibit at the Emporium, See to Believe, Circus Orbis, which may provide some insight into some of the things I say today. You know, the name of this service, Art and Spirituality, indicates ideas about the role of art in terms of Unitarian Universalism. One could have called this service Art and Religion, but not all of us, while we may go to a church, may necessarily be theists. And if you take art history, what do you study but mostly religious art? The churches, the temples, the synagogues, the sacred spaces. So we think of art as something that's part of our spiritual life, just as we think of music and the culinary production from the kitchen and so forth. In fact, to be creative is to be human. One could certainly be creative using only your body, your hands, your voice, your face. However, humans are tool makers, and tools are often vital to a creative practice. It's through practice that we develop a deeper and more profound understanding of our tools. For one person, the tool might be a violin. For another, it could be a camera. My own toolbox has grown and changed over time. For me, a pencil, a pen, a brush are all very direct tools that connect my brain and my hand. They require one to be mindful of your breath and your body. Over time, I have sought to use other artistic tools, even language itself, as part of my practice. And practice it is. If one does not use these tools with some regularity, you can lose them. When I was a graduate student in Tempe, Arizona in the early 1980s, I went to see the week-long Yaqui Indian Lent and Easter ceremony in Guadalupe in South Phoenix. Threatened with forced labor by the Mexican government, the Yaquis had migrated north to Arizona from Mexico. Their ceremony embodied their story and took the form of a non-stop march in the town square, with participants dressed as deer dancers and other figures. Out of respect for tradition, no photographs could be taken or drawings permitted. Just as important, all of the beautiful masks and expressive costumes created for the ceremony are destroyed in a large bonfire at the conclusion of the week. Destroying these items actually ensures the continuation of the tradition, as the craft of making the masks and costumes is repeated annually, with one generation teaching the next. Art is a practice, and for it to remain meaningful and present, it is important to remake it again and again. In essence, procession is more significant than production. Like the Yaquis, all artists are what the philosopher Nelson Goodman calls world makers. Like tool making, world making is an essential human activity. In fact, we make a world here at TVUUC. One person might make a world by putting two or more unlikely things together. In this context, we might have a jackalope. Another might create a world by taking apart and rearranging something into a new order, such as an abstraction. Worlds can also be distortions or manipulations of something commonplace to make something unordinary. Think of surrealism. In championing world-making, Goodman is less concerned with what it is to be true or knowable, only what it means to be human. In some respects, what Goodman is describing has much in common with the UU practice of making your own theology. World-making can be judged as a system of ethics rather than epistemology. I say make art, make a utopian world that's beautiful and meaningful and touches others. It is a way of leaving a mark, saying you are here, you have something to share. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing 326, Let All the Beauty We Have Known, hymn 326.
prepared to leave the sanctuary, pack away a piece of this church in your heart. Wrap it carefully like a precious gem. Carry it with you through the joys and the sorrows of your days. Let its gentle glow strengthen you, warm you, remind you of all that is good and true until we gather here again in this place of love. As our last act, please turn and greet your neighbor.